One of the biggest issues facing my generation is factory farming and whether or not it is an ethical and sustainable method in which a population is able to feed itself. Many people believe that factory farming is the way of the future and that by genetically altering chickens, injecting animals with hormones, and holding high numbers of livestock indoors is the way of the future, and that because of this, we as a species are able to farm more efficiently than our ancestors were able to. On the other hand, there is another camp that thinks farming in this manner is unethical as well as unsafe. On the other hand, there is another camp that thinks that farming in this manner is unethical as well as unsafe, and that farming should instead be done in a manner that more closely resembles that of how our ancestors farmed. This would mean leaving livestock out to pasture instead of forcing them to live their lives indoors. Opponents of factory farming argue that natural farming is more sustainable as well as safer. I, for one, find myself on the side of a more natural approach to farming. One of the most widely debated issues regarding factory farming is the use of hormones in the raising of animals. Those who are pro-hormone use argue that the use of hormones allows an animal, a cow for example, to grow much larger in a shorter amount of time, which sounds great. But the problem with that is that there are six types of hormones that can be broken up into two separate categories. The six types of hormones are known as testosterone, progesterone, and estradiol 17B. The other three hormones are labeled synthetic hormones. These include chernobyl acetate, zeranol, melogestrone acetate, and these hormones have a link to health problems that can be traced back to the meat from which they come. The European Union feared what these hormones caused so much that in the year 1988, hormone growth promoters were banned from use in livestock cultivation within the European Union. The fact that an entire group of countries have deemed this farming practice unsafe enough to warrant a ban should work to illustrate just how dangerous the use of these hormones are in farming. These hormones are so dangerous that a group of scientists led by Shauna H. Swan determined that these hormones can be particularly dangerous to unborn males still in the womb of the mother. Her findings concluded that the sex hormones testosterone and progesterone can be confused by the human body for their own hormones and then can result in many different consequences. For example, Swan looked at the sperm quality of 773 men. Out of these 773 men, 387 other mothers consumed an average of 4.3 meals that contained beef per week. The participants of the study were then divided into two separate groups, that being born to a mother with high beef consumption and a low beef consumption. Swan concluded that the men born to mothers in the group that was classified as low beef consumption, which is less than 7 beef pills per week, had a concentration of sperm that was 24.3% higher than their high beef consumption counterparts. On the other side, it was seen that men who were born to mothers who were classified as high beef consumption, that 18% of these men had sperm concentrations below the World Health Organization threshold for subfertility. Yes, the use of hormones in factory farming will result in a larger animal in a shorter period of time. But is sacrificing the time and energy in raising that animal really worth the added dangers that come with eating the meat from the animals that are subject to the hormones? I don't think so. While the use of hormones in farming and their dangers can be ignored, what can't be is the fact that animals in these large farming operations are being treated in a manner that should be deemed unethical. Oftentimes, these animals are being raised in an operation that is known as a factory farm. Common practice of these factory farms, according to the American Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, more commonly known as the ASPCA, is to remove young livestock such as piglets, cows, or chicks from the care of their mother and into sheds that often have very little room for the creatures to move around and receive proper exercise. These sheds oftentimes do not have any windows that would normally provide sunlight and ventilation for the animals. According to PETA, the People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, a common practice in both pig and beef farming is the castration of males without painkillers. In the case of pigs, the only reason this is being done is because customers find a difference in the taste of pork that has been castrated versus pork that has not been castrated. In the case of beef, not only are the males castrated without painkillers, but oftentimes their horns may be removed without painkillers in an attempt to remove the cow's natural defenses. Think about removing a fingernail or a toenail. Removing a fingernail or a toenail of a human is what it's like to have the horns removed for cows. Given that evidence that has been presented, I think that it is time that we all take a stand for what is right and demand an end to factory farming operations all over the world.